So people always complain about time with cooking, but time is your best friend when it comes to cooking because it allows things to slowly happen, which is not a bad thing. Well, I put the mat, so these things come with a gripped or like non-skid surface, but so sometimes they put like a wet towel or a cotton board, but I don't know why these car mats for me seem to have these extra car mats. So I just trust it. And all this on the car mats is all shavings from the cotton from the stones. Sharpening stones, you need to hydrate them else they'll crack, and there's a much more technical explanation for this, but they sharpen a lot better when hydrated and with a little water on top. So you just mix the water with the particles that's grinded off of the stone, and that helps to sharpen your knife. You just do like 10 times on either side. And then you work your way down to one. And all these little specks, you just mix it into the water.
What's the difference between the different stones?
The coarse, how coarse it is. So you start from the coarser stone to the finer stone, smoother stone, to give you a more refined edge. as often as it need really. You'll know when it's starting to get peeled up. Check these knives out. That's sharp. So I'm biting a little bit. Okay, better. Why we pickling it? It stores very well. This could probably last well over a month in your refrigerator. So if you need like veggies during your week to eat, this is a very time saving and economical option. Right, so pickling is a form of preserving, in this instance, these vegetables. So you're preserving the freshness, the flavor, the bite, that crunch. So I guess, typically you'll always see pickles or pickled cucumber, but in theory, you could pickle anything. You could pickle eggs. It gives it, it enhances the natural flavors of the vegetables, and it also gives it that classic pickling flavor, that sweet, savory, acid. Sometimes if you want to incorporate some spice there too. How do you do it? It's a ratio of your sweet element. That could be sugar, honey, any type of sweetener, to be honest. Salt, I'll be using sea salt. Acid, apple cider vinegar, wine. In this instance, I'm just using regular distilled vinegar. Normally would use apple cider vinegar, but I don't have any, so you can use regular vinegar.
Will that change the taste?
So if you don't like apple cider vinegar, you'll prefer this. Because apple cider vinegar has that distinct smell and taste. So this regular distilled vinegar is a more neutral vinegar. So it will definitely not taste the same as when using apple cider vinegar.
Which one do you prefer?
I prefer the apple cider vinegar.
Why?
But the apples, because I just like pungent flavors. But the apple cider vinegar tends to require more sweet, more sugar, more honey. Yeah, so we're really making this for two reasons: for us to eat during the week. And I need to use this in an upcoming recipe video. How much liquid? That's a good question. I always find myself guessing. But we'll make enough. So here we use a cup of vinegar. Yeah, so we're watching the pickled pimento.
Many pickled cucumbers, onions, but how much of you all have ever tasted pickled pigment? Already flavorful ingredient.
And salt, 6 to 1 salt and sugar. And also you can flavor this if you want to do clove, ginger, do what you want to.
Since you love ginger so much, how come you never do it before?
12. I don't know. I like it relatively neutral. So yeah, we're gonna mix over this just to dissolve.
Is this also very healthy?
Well, that will depend on how much sugar and all that you put in.
Can
Because
you omit the sugar?
Omit the sugar? No. If you're pickling something, it needs those three elements. Well, the two main elements is the acid and the sweet.
Can you change it to like something like agave or?
Yeah, so honey, normally I would use honey. I just forgot it downstairs, so I don't. But yeah, normally I would use honey. Any type of sweetener. Any type of sweetener you want to use. Taste this to make sure.
How long it have to soak before you can eat it?
I mean, for best results, a couple hours, overnight. Realistically, peanut jam, half an hour. You may just need to concentrate the flavors a little more if you need it right now.
What do you taste them for then?
The sweetness, the acid, the salt.
And
I think it's good. Maybe it's a little salt, but I don't think so.
that was fast.
Yeah, this was easy to make. This was it. Like this, for like meal prep. If time is not on your side, you can make this for, think about it, you can make enough for an entire month. And look at how fast. The longest part is prepping the veg. That's the longest part. It didn't even take me 5 minutes to do this. Okay. So every 5 minutes or so, just, of course this liquid is hot, so you want to be a little gentle. Yeah, you just toss it in. And what it will do, so it's hot, right? So it will make the veg a little more pliable, break it down a little bit, so it'll make it a lot more easier to mix. Yeah, so you're just washing the rice part. I mean, you obviously want to clean your rice, but more importantly, you want to remove some of the starch. So your rice don't clump up when cooked. Fresh green seasoning. Anyways, no, I'll save some for the peas. Right, so you just want we're not straining this rice. We're gonna let it boil, reduce the simmer, and let it steam off. So there's no need. That's why we can add the seasoning and thing now.
Why you strain that rice?
Well, some people just strain rice. You just boil it in how much ever water, and you strain it off. But just like how you'll cook it in a rice cooker where there's a ratio of rice to water, this is what I'm gonna do. But I just eyeball how much water and I'll just gauge it on the stove. Right, so with the rice, before moving on with the rice, again, you just want to bring it to a boil and you reduce it to a simmer. Depending on how much water you put, maybe slightly higher than a simmer, and you just want to steam off that rice. Time wise, if it's simmering 10 maybe 12 minutes and all the water should be removed, And now we're gonna get started on the peas. Chrissy likes lentil peas, so we're gonna make lentil peas. Green seasoning, pumpkin, tomato, pimento, garlic, shallow benny. So we're gonna wash this, wash our tomato. How much tomato? You like plenty tomato?
Yeah.
You like 3?
I like tomato.
Yeah, wash that, cut it up, get the peas started. Peas, always soak your peas. Unless you're using peas from a tin. But we ain't using no peas from a tin.
Lentil peas are selling at tin.
Lentil peas, not in Trinidad. But I'm sure somewhere lentil peas, like all other peas, will sell in that tin too. So we're gonna stew the peas, just like if you're stewing chicken. If you like the stewant, you prefer it, or it don't matter.
I never had lentil peas any other way. You? How?
You just saute your veggies, add your peas. If you want to do like tomato paste to give it some color, thickness, pumpkin of course, add your water. If you want to do, I've never done coconut milk, and you just let it thicken up.
I just find it's the best taste.
Yeah. And I love to crush the garlic. Just bring out the oil, the natural oils in the garlic. And you don't even have to really like cut this up. If you mash this up like this, you don't even have to really cut it up again.
Why?
Because it will, you want it to slowly break down in the peas. Remember when you're cooking peas, it's at least, or I would say start to finish, on the fire. So that's plenty time to allow your garlic, your shallow benny to break down and release its flavor in your peas. We forgot to soak the peas last night, so what I did this morning, just washed it and soak it in hot water. For best results, let it soak overnight.
One night is fine.
Yeah, and I think it's better, like, people always complain about time with cooking, but time is your best friend when it comes to cooking, because it allows things to slowly happen, which is not a bad thing. I'll give you an example. Like, people talk about like barbecue and smoked meats and things. It's a slow process, and part of the reason it's so good is because the proteins in the meat are allowed to slowly break down and tenderize. Look at him melt in your mouth.
So quick food is not always the best.
No. What happens, like, alright, if I use the meat comparison, right? When you put meat in a pressure cooker, it tears the protein strands. Whereas if you slowly cook it over time, it slowly breaks it down and allows it to release from each other and separate and that kind of thing.
Why eat an organ?
Well, you don't like the tops, so I'm taking it off, but all is good.
Yeah, but it is disintegrate, so. And
The top?
tomato is disintegrate.
Yeah,
so
but you know
topping
some people still like to remove it.
That's just the extra sweetness.
Could be. Normally I'll use fresh pumpkin, but I have some pureed pumpkin that I steamed for something else. So I just took some of it. I'm just using about a cup. Just add this to it. Right, now it's time to go stew peas. Alright, so let's show our steamed rice. Let's see how much it increased in volume. Not clumped up. The smelly seasoning. Alright.
So it's a little bit more brown.
True. Check out Oh, with the fermented pimento sauce. So I made this Hopefully this already, yeah. So here we have our pimento, and I like ripe red pimentos, already prepped, cut into smaller pieces. What we're gonna do now is we're just gonna top it with some flavorings. I mean, from here, this is optional, so I'm just going with about a teaspoon of ginger. About, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 garlic cloves. And again, after you make this the first time, you could always adjust accordingly. And what I'll probably do after the initial fermentation time, when it's time to blend, which is like minimum 21 days from today, I will add additional flavor and some Sharpening. What else? Maybe some side, maybe some more garlic. So what you want to do, I'm trying to just fill here to the brim with the onion before we, and I'm just gently pressing down too before we fill with water. So yeah, so for this, I put this in everything. I put this pimento sauce in almost everything I make now. I just find it so versatile.
Why fermenting?
For fermenting, it's a age-old prehistoric way of preserving foods, and it also helps to enhance the flavor. So like the longer it's allowed to sit and ferment, is the more the flavor develops. Ideally, you should ferment it in a glass jar. I do not have anything larger than probably like these 16-ounce glass jars. So because of that, I'm fermenting in these BPA-free commercial grade plastic containers. Right, last going in with about 2 tablespoons of vinegar.
Why not apple cider?
You could, but I want the star of this to be the pimento. So I'm using relatively neutral flavors. The onion is relatively neutral, but it still has its pronounced flavor that I think will help to complement the pimento, the garlic, the ginger, and that's also why using much. So I'm adding just enough water to fully submerge. And what I want to do here, again, full tutorial on Foodie Nation, but I'll just run down through it. So what you want to do here, once it has enough water to fully cover all the ingredients, you want to strain off the water, but you want to weigh the water. So I'm straining it, but weighing it. All the liquid in this case, because the vinegar is in there too. Right, so I have 472 grams, and you want to add 3% of the total weight in salt, and I'm using sea salt. So 471, that's 14.1 grams of salt. So let me zero the scale. Come in with 14, extra dash. Right, so that is it, and then you just take a fork and you stir to dissolve, and you repeat the process. That's pretty much it. You mark it, you label it for the date you made it, because you want this to ferment at least for 21 days, I'll say, and then after the 21 days, I'll blend it to my desired thickness and consistency. And still label it so you know the day it was made, so you know how old it is, and you can enjoy afterwards. So watch this. So you want this to be completely submerged to the point where liquid almost ready to spill out. So you see? Give it a little shake if you want. You don't have to. And you just let this sit at room temperature. You can put it in your chiller if you want, you don't have to. Room temperature for 21 days. You're gonna add something.
If you have to empty all the water and all that, you'll just use the same salt measurement for all. Because you're putting the same amount of
Yeah.
vinegar
So
and water.
you can, I mean, it's not an exact, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be exact, but just to be safe, I will measure. But you can. And of course, the amount of vinegar too would really depend on let's say what, quarter cup of ginger, cup of garlic. Wash it up on the next gloves, some onion because I want to press this down. Vinegar. Tablespoons of vinegar. Press everything down. Nice. Alright, so this is 783 grams. 783 grams. Okay. Let me zero it now and get some and fill it up with 32 ounces of water. So this is the second 949 added in. So I'll just do it one more time. So this is zeroed. Get it into the water. This is the third one. Shake it if it wants to. What? Some liquid spilling. But yeah, that's the idea. So, one of the things I wanted to show you all today was how I clean, because I get questions about this too, how I clean these white cutting boards or how they stay white. So normally what I'll do, I have a large commercial sink downstairs. I will fill the sink in a bleach water solution and sink or fully submerge these boards in the sink, and that is what keeps it white. But for the purpose of this video, what I did, I just made a bleach solution in a spray bottle. And you're just going to spray it and let it actually, you know, I could just, I'm just thinking of it. If you don't have a spray bottle, you could probably just pour a little on your board, just let it absorb. And we'll time it and see. I think no more than 5 minutes per side should solve this problem. In the meantime, we'll finish, so we're going to clear the kitchen. Alright, so we're going to make a little mess here, unfortunately, with the water, but I need to flip these boards over to get the other side. I might jump in. But this I'm not going to flip because I was going to use one side. This actually forgot this, so we'll do this one. If you see any water coming your way, let me know. So 5-10 minutes, and we get. Alright, so you see, instead of clean this one, you just with a little quick scrub. wash off the bleach water first. And with the sink too, you can submerge it and leave it overnight. So you don't even have to scrub. You know, that extra time. Okay. Alright people, as always, thanks for joining us. That's it. Bye.